Once upon a time, there was a man who fell in love and got married. And he and his wife had a little boy. And it was so exciting. And well, they didn't live happily ever after necessarily, because there were some really interesting things going on when they were alive. First of all, this man was one of the Israelites. And he and his wife, during the time when the children of Israel were in captivity. That means that they were slaves in Egypt, and the Pharaoh ruled over them. And it was not a happy time for them because they had to work hard and a lot, and things were taken away from them. But nonetheless, he found a wife and he got married and they had a son. That should be happy, right? Well, that wasn't necessarily happy either, because the Pharaoh was getting nervous because the children of Israel were growing bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. And he thought, I got to stop this. I got to slow this thing down, or they might get so big they could just take us over. That wouldn't be good. So he devised a terrible plan. He wanted to destroy all the baby boys that were born to the children of Israel. That's not nice at all. And that's not even right. But what were they going to do? They had this beautiful baby boy, and he was a gift from God. And so this baby boy's mother prayed, and she hid the boy as long as she could. She thought, I know this boy is of God, and I know he has a special purpose, but I don't know how to protect him. And God gave her an idea. And she built a basket. And in that basket, she took tar and put tar in the basket so it would be waterproof. Because a basket in the water would just sink. And in faith, she laid her baby boy in that basket. And she set that basket in the river. And she let him go into God's hands. But she was wise. And she sent her daughter to watch to see what would happen. And so her daughter was running along, hiding in the reeds and the bulrushes, so no one could see her. But she kept an eye on the basket with her brother in it, and she was praying that God would help her too. Well, the basket ended up in an odd place. The princess of Egypt had come down with her servants to take a bath in the river because they didn't have bathrooms back then. And the basket floated right up to the princess. And the princess heard a baby crying. Well, she looked inside, and there was a beautiful baby boy in the basket, and he was crying. And she picked him up, and she held him close. And her heart was melting inside of her because he was so cute and so needy. And she looked, and she said, this must be one of the Hebrew babies. But her heart was so turned toward him. She said, I will take him and make him my own. Well, that little girl, the baby's brother, was so smart and so wise. She ran right up to the princess and said, would you like me to go find a Hebrew woman to help you take care of this baby? And the princess said, yes, that will be great. And I will pay her. This little baby's mom had prayed and asked the Lord to help her. She took a huge step of faith. She made a basket and put her baby in the basket and put her baby in the river and trusted the Lord and sent her daughter to help. And now her son was rescued by the only person who had power to rescue him, the princess of Egypt. She took him as her own. And what's even better is she paid money to the baby's mom to take care of him. Now that's pretty crazy. When she looked all around, it looked like she was going to lose her baby. Something terrible might happen to him. But she reached out to God and she took a step of faith. And now her child would be taken care of, be protected, and be raised in a palace. There was a huge sacrifice too, because that mom had to let go of her son. But she knew when she saw her baby the first time that he was special. He had special purpose from God. And she knew that, and she knew it in her heart, and she believed that. And so she made big decisions and took crazy steps of faith and asked God to help her. And God did. And that little baby's name was Moses. And the princess of Egypt named him Moses because she lifted him up out of the water. And Moses had a special purpose. And the children of Israel we've been talking about is they're going through the wilderness and they're conquering Jericho and doing all these great things. Guess who their leader is? Exactly. It's Moses. Moses was called of God from birth. Moses was born in a difficult and scary time. Things all around him didn't make sense. But his mom was wise because his mom knew and believed the true and living God that we serve. And she reached out and she cried out, and God gave her a purpose and a plan. And she followed that purpose and plan. And her baby was protected. And her baby became the leader of God's chosen people. And we have all kinds of lessons and stories today and heritage because she took a step of faith when it was scary, it didn't make sense. So when the day around you looks crazy, talk to the Lord. He'll help you find peace. He'll help you find purpose. And he'll help you make the right decisions.